Hello, everybody. Today, I wanted to talk about everything we know about Leagues 5 so far. I've already made a video going over the initial announcement of Leagues 5, going over the core mechanics and kind of like the fundamentals of Leagues. But today, I want to focus on some of the finer details that have slowly been kind of spilling out just to get you a little bit more excited and perhaps change what you've been planning for the upcoming Leagues. Basically, I have a big notepad that I just add every little detail that comes out and gets revealed to us. And then once the notepad fills up with enough relevant stuff, I'm going to be putting out a video. And perhaps most importantly, and why I'm making this video today, is that we finally have an official release date for Leagues 5, and that is going to be November 27th. So if you're looking to take time off for the beginning of Leagues, get working on that right now. That's just 7 weeks out from this video, so you got about a month and a half leading up to Leagues. And there's going to be a ton of information in that time. And so I really can't wait till we start seeing more about Leagues. And I can share that with you as soon as it comes out. Now, some of you may have noticed that November 27th is the day before Thanksgiving if you're in the United States. And if you don't know, November 27th is the busiest travel day in the entire year for United States, just because there's so many people who are flying out to go see their family and whatnot. So I don't really know how I feel about League's launch coming out that day, just because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of you who are looking forward to playing Leagues, and you're either traveling that day or you're going to be spending time with family that week. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that was the best decision to make. I think the start of these like seasonal modes, especially in an MMO, are just so exciting when everybody's there, and there's this really great like feeling of being present. So I just feel like it would have been better to start it on maybe like Friday or something instead, just so that everybody can kind of be there on the same page. Personally, for me, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to be a degenerate waking up at 3 a.m. and playing. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to that. And I don't even have to take time off from work because it's a holiday weekend anyways. So it works out for me. But, for everybody else, I think it would have been better to start a little later. In addition, they've changed the initial schedule from a 6-week league to an 8-week league, which is kind of how it's been. So this means that Leagues 5 is going to be running from November 27th all the way through mid to late January. And I think this works out great for the Trailblazer format that's coming back to Leagues 5, where you're going to be picking your regions as well as your relics. That way you can try out some of them and still have enough time to play another character and try out a completely different batch of regions. That replay value is kind of very present in Leagues because you're able to experience so many different things. Next up, all of the cosmetic rewards have been pulled and they have all passed. I don't think anybody's surprised here because these like always pass and they look really great. I know that I'm really excited for this new Virtus outfit that got announced because, I just think it looks awesome. I think that the color scheme works pretty good while still looking kind of like Virtus. I think the mask is really awesome, and I just can't wait to see this in game. This is definitely one of the things I'm buying with my League points right away. And remember that if you're not interested in Leagues, or maybe you just don't have that much time to play, all of these items will be available on the Grand Exchange as well, but if you're an Iron Man, you will have to earn those League points on your own. And you will be able to spend your League points to buy previous season outfits as well. So if you missed some of the, death animations or recall animations from the previous Leagues, you'll still be able to buy that as long as you play this Leagues. It's all one shop. And for the trophies for Dragon rank, Rune rank, Adamant rank, those are coming back as well, and they will be based on static thresholds again. This means that as long as you hit a certain amount of points, you will qualify for that trophy. It's not going to be percentage based as it was in the earlier Leagues. And while I love this change, I do wish that there was something added to add that kind of competitive experience with Leagues again. I'm totally for making the experience as enjoyable for the majority of players, but I just do think some kind of competition would be nice, just like there's some competition in Deadman mode. Personally, I've been thinking of setting up a small tournament with some streamers and content creators, maybe like a race the first person to get Dragon tier. That way you're not investing like 2 months to grinding for points, and instead it's just like a smaller, week or 2-week competition among some people. But we'll see how that goes. Let me know if you're interested in that. Moving on, we've had some really important updates about raids that will certainly affect what regions you'll be selecting. Now, this was mentioned in the last video, but you will be able to receive the mega rare from the raid from all 3 raids. So basically this means that if you, for example, want to get a scythe, which would typically require the Theater of Blood and therefore Mauritania to unlock, now you'll be able to pick the desert, and the scythe will also drop from the Tombs of Amascut raid. all 3 mega rares will drop from all 3 raids. We don't know exactly how this drop rate works, but I don't think that this is going to make it any rarer to get the item you want. It's just like an extra roll of getting the other regions mega rares as well. And I love this change just because, again, it opens up what regions you want to select as far as what's related to your combat style. Obviously, if you are going for a specific combat style, which we don't really know about yet, so I'm not saying there are combat styles yet, but if you wanted to specialize in a certain combat style, you always kind of want that mega rare as well. So having a lot of different options as to where you go while still being able to get that, incredibly valuable, powerful item that's a lot of fun to use is a wonderful thing in my opinion. Now, on the subject of drop rates, they have also announced that you will be able to get multiple purples from a raid, namely for Tombs of a Masket and the Theater of Blood. If you did these raids in the last league, you probably know how frustrating it was where you would raid with some of your friends, and by yourself, you might have close to 100% chance at getting a purple and a unique item from the raid. But when you raided with a friend, this would essentially cut you down to like 50% with 2 people or 25% with 4 people, just because you're splitting that 100% chance among all of your group. Chambers of Xeric didn't have this problem, so you could walk away with like 6 purples from a raid. That was really awesome. And now that's also being implemented for Theater of Blood and Tombs of a Masket. So that's no longer an issue. That was honestly, I think, my biggest issue in the last league, just how rough it was to raid with other people, where it felt like you were just completely killing your chance at getting unique items. So overall, massive W. I love this change so much. It is so exciting. I cannot wait to like raid with like a group of 8. It's going to be so much fun. And in case you were wondering, the Scythe will not require blood vials, which are typically only found in the Theater of Blood. So you're not going to get into a weird situation where you have a Scythe, but you don't have Mauritania to get the charges to actually use it. Moving on, there's been some discussion regarding quests and auto-completing quests. Basically, the League's team has been looking at a lot of the quests and going over them and either auto-completing them or making sure that you don't have to do them for any tasks if they are not like a core part of that zone. So the one that they mentioned would be auto-completed is a Soulsbane, which I've done that quest like 15 times now, and oh boy, I hate it every single time, and I'm glad to never do that quest again because it is required for the Varrock Medium Diary, so I've had to do that like every single time. Again, this is another great change just because the seasonal modes, having to do the same set of quests over and over and over again, especially those like really boring side quests and stuff like that, I just don't think they're that fun to do. And at least giving you the option to auto-complete them, I think should just be a feature for pretty much every quest moving forward, so that you get to make that option of whether or not you want to complete it for the experience reward, or you can just skip it and still, I think, have access to the content without having to, go through all that effort. In addition, some of the longer grindy tasks have also been removed. We don't know exactly what yet, but I think this is going to be things like the 2000 monkey laps in Kandarin, as well as some of the longer like raid kill count tasks. Realistically, like nobody does these anyway, except for the very, very high end point chasers. And, they complete every single task anyway. So it just kind of pads out the task list. And I think it's fine to get rid of them. And there's been one more really cool breadcrumb that's come out, and that's that the Hunter's Crossbow will not require Kandarin to access. Typically, you would need access to Yanil for the Hunter shop there to actually get this, but now it's going to be open outside of that. Don't know exactly how, though, yet. And this is actually really cool because recently with the Varlamore update, you could upgrade the Hunter Crossbow to the Sunlight Crossbow, and that's actually a pretty decent range weapon that's like better than a magic shortbow, and it actually kind of turns Varlamore into like a really interesting region right now if you're looking to go for like a more range style. Again, I don't know if combat styles are coming back, but let's just say you want to go for like a ranged build. Well, now if you go to Varlamore, which is a new region in Leagues 5, you'll have access to the Sunlight Crossbow along with the Sunlight Bolts and Moonlight Bolts from the Antelopes there. You'll have access to the Quiver from the Colosseum, which is great. And you'll also have access to the full Eclipse set from Perilous Moons, which I think if combat styles are more hybrid, Perilous Moon sets are actually going to be really cool to use. Having a region that gives you all 3 like mid-game options for those combat styles is great. And the new Huaycatl group boss in Varlamore drops the hides to make the like Quakecoddle hide armor, which is an upgrade to Blessed Dragonhide. So all in all, there's a lot of really good ranged options right now in Varlamore. It's definitely something I'm considering, although I am nowhere near ready to announce what my plans for Leagues 5 are just yet. We still got so much information that I am looking forward to hearing about Leagues, things about the Echo bosses, new relics, what relics are coming back. If you're looking to get your hands on some more Leagues content, last year I did a deep dive of every single region that's available, so that's definitely a great place to start if you're just curious about what kind of things are available in every single region, and perhaps start to think about where you want to pick for this Leagues. And again, as more information comes out, I'm jotting it down on a notepad, and basically as soon as it fills back up, I'll be making a new video. Let me know what you thought below. I definitely want to hear about what raid region you're thinking about going now that you can really pick any of the three. And that's definitely going to be my biggest recommendation, is to at least have one region with a raid in it, because I mean, having access to all three mega rares is insane. Even if you get lucky and hit one of those, like, you're going to be doing great. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys soon.